Welcome to the e-learning channel of Balurghat Mohila Mahavidyalaya. Today our subject matter is ELISA, that is enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, and monoclonal and polyclonal antibody and their applications. This is in 8th paper, Unit 1, Part 3. ELISA or enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay is a biochemical technique to detect the presence of antigen or antibody in a sample. In simple words, in ELISA, an unknown quantity or unknown amount of antigen is affixed to a solid surface, usually a polystyrene microtiter plate. After that, a specific antibody is washed over the sample or the affixed target molecule. The antibody is bound to an enzyme. When the antibody is washed over the antigen, the antibody can bind the antigen. In the final step, a substrate is added and the substrate is converted to a detectable signal by the enzyme. Thus, in case of fluorescence ELISA, when the light of appropriate wavelength is applied to the sample, the magnitude of fluorescent antigen antibody reveals the amount of antigen in the sample. The definition: the enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay is a common laboratory technique which is used to measure the concentration of an analyte in solution. The analyte is usually antibody or antigen. The ELISA is a plate-based technique designed for detecting and quantifying soluble substances such as peptides, antibodies and hormones. In an ELISA, the antigen is immobilized on a solid surface that I have said earlier and then complexed with an antibody that is linked to a reporter enzyme. Detection is accomplished by measuring the activity of the reporter enzyme via incubation with the appropriate substrate to produce a measurable product. The principle of ELISA. The principle is based on basic immunology response, that is, lock and key concept and enzyme conjugate substrate concept. The lock and key concept includes antigen as a key and antibody as a lock. The key fits into the lock as antigen fits into antibody. Addition of a substrate to enzyme conjugates initiates chemical reactions that subsequently will result in a product. Generally, ELISA substrate generate a soluble product. Types of ELISA. There are three basic types actually: indirect ELISA, direct ELISA and sandwich ELISA. There are several formats used for ELISA. After immobilization, the antigen is detected either directly, that is labeled primary antibody, or indirectly, that is by labeled secondary antibody. Here, in case of direct ELISA, this is the immobilized antigen which is detected by the primary antibody. So this is called direct ELISA. After the addition of substrate, a detectable signal appears and the sample is quantified. In case of indirect ELISA, after affixation of antigen, a primary antibody binds to it, and after that a secondary antibody which is bound to an enzyme binds to it. The substrate is added and the enzyme converts the substrate into product. So the detectable signal is quantified. The most widely used ELISA format is the sandwich ELISA, which indirectly immobilizes and detects the presence of the target antigen. This format is highly used because of its sensitivity and specificity. The antigen is bound to an antibody, and after that another antibody. Here this is biotin labeled detection antibody is added, and the antigen is sandwiched between the two antibodies. The substrate is converted to a colored product which is easily detectable. Applications of ELISA. Generally, antibody concentrations, serum antibody concentrations rather, is detected by ELISA. Potential food allergen such as allergen in milk, peanut, walnut, almond, eggs are detected. Disease outbreaks are tracked by the ELISA, or tracking the spread of the disease is done by ELISA. The antigen detection, that is drug allergen, mad cow disease allergen, is detected by ELISA. Detection of antibodies in blood sample for past exposure to disease such as trichinosis, HIV, bird flu are there. So here we are coming to monoclonal antibody. It has been known that B lymphocytes are generally responsible for the synthesis and secretion of antibodies. Thus, serum contains mixture of different antibodies produced by many clones of B lymphocytes that may respond to different portion of an antigen. These antibodies are known as polyclonal antibodies. So there are two things, monoclonal antibody and polyclonal antibody. B lymphocytes produces antibody of a single specificity because normal B lymphocyte cannot grow indefinitely. It is necessary to immortalize B cells that produce a specific antibody. This is achieved by cell fusion or somatic cell hybridization. This process is done between a normal antibody producing B cell and a myeloma cell, followed by secretion of fused cells that secrete antibody of the desired specificity derived from the normal B cell. Such fusion-derived immortalized antibody-producing cell lines are called hybridomas. Point it, hybridomas. And the antibodies they produce are monoclonal antibodies. So, the antibodies that are made by identical immune cells that are all clones of a unique parent cells are called monoclonal antibodies. They have monovalent affinity in that they bind to the same epitope. In contrast, polyclonal antibodies bind to multiple epitopes and are usually made by several different plasma cells. This has become an important tool in biochemistry, molecular biology, and medicine. If you notice the picture, the mouse challenged with an antigen. So here are the spleen cells, and after fusion with the myeloma cell, the spleen cells form hybridoma, the immortalized antibody producing cell lines. This is cultured in a medium or selective medium for positive cells, and we can harvest the monoclonal antibodies from the cell culture. If we inject antigen into rabbit and antigen activates B cell, the plasma B cells produce polyclonal antibodies. That is, the antibodies with different sites that may respond to different portion of an antigen. These are the memory B cells and these are plasma B cells. I hope you know the difference of memory B cell and plasma B cell. So the secreted antibodies, that is polyclonal antibodies, are obtained from the rabbit. There are some basic features of polyclonal and monoclonal antibody. Polyclonal antibody is cheap to produce. It is mixed population of antibodies. It may bind to different areas of the target molecule. It is tolerant of small changes in protein structure. So this is a polyclonal antibody type. Monoclonal antibody is very specific. It is expensive to produce. It is single antibody species. It will only bind single specific site. It may recognize a particular protein from monoclonal antibody. So there are some diagnostic use, that it can detect pregnancy only 14 days after conception, and it is also used in diagnosis of hepatitis, influenza, herpes, streptococcal and chlamydia infections. It can be used to detect for the presence and quantity of the substance, for instance in a Western blot test or an immunofluorescence test. Monoclonal antibodies can also be used to purify a substance with techniques called immunoprecipitation and affinity chromatography. There are also some uses of polyclonal antibodies or some applications, that is, sandwich ELISA for tumor markers or other antigens can be designed with polyclonal antibodies to detect a known or unknown forms of antigen with high antigen homology, to detect low level of a particular antigen, to capture as much antigen as possible, to detect denatured proteins, to detect a target in solutions with varying pH and salt concentrations. That's all for today. Thank you.